Welcome to the Amazing Truth Podcast, a podcast where we focus on real issues and have real talk, and as always, provide a biblical perspective. We hope that you will be blessed as you listen.
Hello and welcome to the Amazing Truth Podcast. This is the Amazing Truth Minute.
This is the Amazing Truth Podcast. The Amazing Truth Podcast. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Stitcher. Like us on Facebook at the Amazing Truth Podcast. The Amazing Truth Podcast. Real issues, real talk.
For the Amazing Truth Minute, today we'll focus on John chapter 10, verse 10, and it says, "The thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly." You see, folks, God has a plan for every one of his children, but the enemy has a blueprint for our destruction. In the scriptures, one of the most well-known names for Jesus is the Good Shepherd. That's John chapter 10, verse 11. In biblical names, the role of a shepherd was widely known, and it was common knowledge that the sheep were vulnerable animals who were prone to wander, stubborn, and in need of constant redirection from the shepherd in order to survive. In the ancient Near East, it was typical for a shepherd to walk ahead of his sheep to make sure predators wouldn't invade the flock. The shepherd protected and provided for his flock, sometimes even at the expense of his own life. In the same way, Jesus watches over us as a shepherd protects his sheep. Satan's desire is to inflict destruction, suffering, and loss, but Jesus came so we could have abundant life. And that is the Amazing Truth Minute.
This is the Amazing Truth Podcast. The Amazing Truth Podcast. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Stitcher. Like us on Facebook at the Amazing Truth Podcast. The Amazing Truth Podcast. Real issues, real talk.
All right. So we do things a little different today. Usually, once I do the Amazing Truth Minute, there's someone there that has a loud voice, a very annoying loud voice that takes over. But today he's not here. He lived up to his promise of saying that he's gonna sit out one episode so to see if we can survive. But I think we'll do just fine. So Ezra, wherever you are, we are just fine. You're just fine. We're not missing you. But with that being said, we are here with another episode of the Amazing Truth Podcast. And today we are going to be talking to international students. We want to have a conversation about international students and how life is, the culture and the challenges, and more so in terms of adjusting to this weird, interesting, dynamic culture. So, without further ado, I think I'll let them introduce themselves. Should we start with the lady or maybe ladies? Okay, ladies first.
Okay,
All right.
My name is Violet Mumbo. I am from Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay.
I'm an international student in Century College. I'm pursuing computer science. And I have been in America for, I think by now it should be 8 months.
8 months.
At most, 8 months.
And you're studying what?
Computer science.
Computer science.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Which Century College, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Georgie? Georgie.
Sure.
What about you?
My name is George Manyange. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm in the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. I'm studying journalism and mass communication and a minor in global studies. This is my second year in America.
Okay.
Yep.
Journalism and mass communication. You're living my dream, man.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And before we started the cameras, you have...
Yes, I have a degree in journalism from Multimedia University of Kenya.
Okay. In Kenya, we don't do shout-outs. Here and there, they do shout-outs. Oh, shout-out. Sounds cool. Yeah. Anyways, how about you, sir?
Yes, I'm Jovian Aswai. I'm a first-year PhD student in applied economics.
Okay.
I'm from Tanzania.
From Tanzania.
Yes.
Is it true PhD students are usually...
They're very chill.
Chill, yeah.
right?
Yep.
The career and
They've been in school for the longest time. They're tired.
They don't say much. As those of us who have these other, we just yap too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been okay.
Chill.
Maybe, Well, maybe when you get to your PhDs, we can all
Yeah.
relax. All right.
Soon to be doctor, professor.
Yeah. Good. So, let's talk about your individual journeys. I mean, you went to school. I'll start with you, Joven.
sure.
Joven?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went to your pre-PhD schooling. You did it in Tanzania?
Yes. So I studied my first degree in Aarhus University, and I was majoring in pure economics. So after when I completed, I joined the University of Dar es Salaam.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure that you know it.
Yeah. We're familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was majoring in pure economics, but I specialized in agricultural economics and environmental economics.
Okay. Wow.
So soon after I completed my masters in 2018, I joined Economic and Social Research Foundation, also known as ESRF. It's a research institution.
Okay.
So I was there for almost 3 years as a research assistant. But also when I was doing my masters, I was a TA.
Okay. Teaching assistant.
Yeah, teaching assistant.
Okay.
So I was teaching agricultural economics, environmental economics, and microeconomics for the undergrads.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, so I was a research assistant at ESRF for almost 3 years. Thereafter, I started applying for the PhD schools, and yeah, here I am.
And then you ended up here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You are schooled, man. When I grow up, I want to be like you, man. But good. That's a wonderful journey. Joji, what about you? Your individual journey? Where did you your schooling and up until now? Yep.
Funny thing, actually, something surprising is me and Vayo in the same school, Multimedia University of Kenya.
Okay.
Vayo was like a senior, while I was I can say a sophomore, because it was a second year when she was on fourth year. She used to do the morning show, and I used to be the sports reporter. So
Okay.
we used to meet in the studio. So it was like, hi, I do my stuff. She does her stuff. We are off. So I joined Multimedia University in 2017 after I finished my high school in 2016. Joined Multimedia University for my diploma. I did it from 2017 to 2019. I completed. Then now I wanted to start join the degree and join a degree course. And I'd put my mind I'm going to study it in Kenya, either Multimedia University or United States International University, USIU. In Thika Road. So then the opportunity to come to the US came. I sort of got a green card, and I was like, okay, so right now I can go to the US to further my studies, because I was I used to admire some of these anchors back in Kenya, like the likes of Jeff Koinange. Those guys studied in abroad.
Right.
Like someone like Victoria Rubadiri, she studied in the US, I think in Virginia, University in Virginia. So I was like, okay, if I get that opportunity, I think I'm going to study there, then come back, work from home. Then I'll be like, okay, so people will be saying like, oh, Joji
Studied
abroad, came back to work in Kenya.
Yeah.
So I got the opportunity, came here around 2020 before the pandemic started. Then January 23rd, I remember. So I'm 2 years old and some 2 or 3 months in the US. So 2020 I'd planned to join Minnesota University, but the opportunity didn't come since when the pandemic was when the pandemic started, and it was declared by WHO like a deadly pandemic. So everything shut down. Right. So my the process of me trying to put my things together for me to send my application to the University of Minnesota, it was not possible. So I had to wait. So 2020 was over. I was just working. 2021 came. Then now they started applying for they started accepting applications for fall and spring. So that's when I sent my application. It was a tedious process.
We'll come to that.
Yeah, I sent my application, joined the U. And okay, my like the first time I came to the US, like I drove past I think the US Bank Stadium, and I saw the University of Minnesota. So I kind of liked it, and I was like, wow, one day, how I wish I can have an opportunity to join the university and be a student. And that opportunity, when that opportunity came knocking,
You took it.
I took it. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Vio, what about you?
I was working, and I was already working because I already graduated. I got a job in Kenya, and as Manyange said, we had worked for some time together. And one day I was just tired because, like, you do a good job, you do everything that it needs to be done, but the pay is so bad, the frustration is tripling every day, and I used to stay in a place called Ongata Rongai, and I would go to South Sea. That means how many cars? 2 cars in the morning, 2 matatus in the morning, plus walking to get to work. And you need to do that again in the evening. Wow. And the jam in Rongai is the worst jam, I think, in Nairobi. It's the worst. Actually. The car can just decide not to move for an hour.
Right.
We used to have like our own. When you pack your bag, our bags you couldn't afford to have a small bag. We had like these big bags that you must have a shawl inside. When you go to the car, you cover yourself up and sleep because it's bad. So one time I was just tired, and I told my father that I don't think this is for me anymore. I did this because, like, I followed my passion. You see, I followed my passion, and I was like, it's not adding up. Why is it things are not adding up? Because life is not waiting for anyone. You need to earn a living. You need to do stuff. Life needs to move on. So I remember I started applying at the place I was working.
Okay.
Yes, I did. So I started looking for opportunities outside and seeing the ones I can afford from the savings I had, and my parents also supported me a bit of it. So I applied. Actually, it was so interesting because I didn't believe it. Things just happened like
Right, fast.
So fast, because I applied, and the next week the school was like, okay, you can come. I went to I took I got an appointment in the embassy, and it was in December, and school starts at 4. So I applied for an expedite, and it was accepted. And I went there, and they told you, okay, fine, go, you can go. So it was really so fast. I don't even think anybody was ready for this. Like, it was a big transition. So I was like, okay, now I'm going. It was like, okay, fine, let's just do this. And now I just found myself here.
So you applied directly to Century College?
Century College website, and they accepted me.
I mean, listen, those are some of those, like that story, it's many people that have done that. I mean, when I was in college too, I applied. I think I applied for schools I think at Penn State or some, but you really, it's rare for you to get
accepted
or even just get a reply, right? So it's when you get a denial, yeah, maybe they read it, but some people, some letters you send and you really don't get anything. So to get a reply and an acceptance,
I was so surprised.
Huge,
They talked to me, and even my advisors, they talked to me when I was still in Kenya. Wow. They scheduled meetings, virtual meetings with me, to tell me that, Violet, even before I got accepted in the embassy, they talked to me and told me, just do your best, make sure you do your best, you're gonna pass, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. They were there for me throughout the journey.
That's
till awesome. I told them, after that I told them I'd gotten accepted, and they told me, okay, that this is ABCD you're supposed to do until you get here. So they sent me a package of exactly what I'm supposed to do in every step until I get to America.
Okay, see, that's a success story. So what you're saying is, whoever is listening, if you're listening from Kenya, if you're listening from wherever you're listening, Tanzania, Century College, Google Century College, maybe there's a success story here, and it shows that it's possible. These things are possible. If you have your dream and you want to achieve it, don't hesitate to take the steps that you need to apply. Just have a leap of faith. I mean, the worst they can say is what?
No.
Right? So good. Now, why I know you decided because you were tired.
I
you
was
said.
tired. I
And
needed better.
And then you came here. You had a green card, and you came and you applied, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
why did you decide to come to the States, Joven?
It's it's a long story, but
Well, give us in a minute.
yeah, okay. But for me, I think since at the end of my first degree, I was having that passion on doing research.
Okay.
So so I told my parents that once I'm done with my bachelor, I have to advance into my masters, particularly in economics. So and luckily enough they funded, and thereafter I started seeing the people who are graduating for their PhD wearing the big hats. So once I was looking at them, and in my heart I was saying that I just want to be like them.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
wearing the big hats, the round cap.
Yeah.
So after that, I started applying for the PhD. But in my application, I can say that it has been quite a long journey, because for the PhD application, it's very very competitive, and particularly if you are coming from Africa and you're applying for the US or European schools, so it is somehow very very
Difficult.
difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for me, I have been applying for the PhD. I was applying for it for almost 3 years. So sometimes you get some response, sometimes you don't. But but once you go on applying, so even your application documents, for example, statement of purpose,
Yeah.
your CV, the GRIs, they become more and more stronger. So when I was looking at my application documents, when I started applying in my final year, they were very very different.
Right.
You see.
So you evolved.
Yeah. So for sure I didn't give up.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get the chance on on getting the PhD admission.
Okay.
And lucky enough, I had several offers from University of Kiel in German and University of Sussex, Edinburgh, Minnesota, Toronto. So I got around, it was around 6 to 7,
Okay.
which were fully funded offers.
Wow.
So it was a very big decision for me to
You had a lot of choices.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Fully funded meaning full ride the whole,
Everything is being covered.
even at the U where you are.
Yes, everything is being covered.
That's awesome.
So luckily enough, my boss was she completed her PhD here,
Okay.
at the University of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So she really encouraged me to go
To apply to the U.
to come here.
Okay.
So once I started checking the ranking of the schools where I got, and I ended up choosing Minnesota because it's one of the top schools, particularly in economics. So
And now you're here.
yeah, I'm
Right.
here.
So let's segue now to now the we've gotten the pleasantries out. Now let's go deep now. What picture did you have about the States? When you were back in Africa? What picture did you have? Gigi, to start with you. What picture did you have of the States, and is it what you expected?
You're seeing when you're back home, most of the time you see US through movies and
Yeah.
maybe on social media, Twitter and other social media platforms like Instagram. When someone posts a status or WhatsApp status, you can say like, oh, so this is how the US looks like.
Right.
So like this was my first time coming to the US. So whatever I was seeing was on social media, and I'd interacted with some people who are here, but I had like my ambition was like if one day I could have gotten that opportunity to maybe not because that when I was in Kenya, I didn't know about like I was not thinking about one day I'll join the University of Minnesota. I can't lie about that. I can't say like I was thinking like one day I'll join the University of Minnesota. One day I was like, if I can get an opportunity to study in Columbia University, because Columbia University is best known for journalism courses and courses dealing with international relations, foreign policies, global studies, such courses. Columbia University is best known for that. It's ranked number 1 worldwide. So it's in, I think it's in Washington. Oh, sorry, New York, if I'm not wrong. So, okay, like, well, I'd seen some anchors in Kenya, someone like Larry Madowo getting an opportunity to study in Columbia University. I was like, okay, if one day I can get that opportunity to go to that school, then I'm sure like my dream in working in big media organizations such as CNN, BBC, Fox, and the rest will come true, because if you're studying in a big university,
You
and
get
you're
the
doing your
opportunity.
best, and you interact with people, and I'm sure one or two opportunities might come through. Like maybe one of the lecturers or professors will like, okay, we can recommend you somewhere. Like, this is my student, I know him, he's good at this and this. I can recommend you to go to a certain organization. So when I was applying, I was like, okay. When I was in when I arrived here, I was like, okay, if I get an opportunity to study University of Minnesota, well and good.
But what picture did you have of the states, just in general, not school wise?
The states were like, we just had like not a good picture because I'd not yet been here, so I used to see the states in the US through social media. So
because I know for me, I had a picture of, there's no dust, right? Your shoes don't get dirty,
sure.
right? I had a picture of in the movies when the people come from shopping, right, they have those brown bags. I used to like that. You see them come with the brown bags, and they pull out these juice boxes out of it, and they have this nice big fridges. So that's the picture I had, and and then I got a chance to, when you come here and you see the snow and see how dusty and dirty this place gets, you're like, okay, this is probably not what I had picture. What about you, Vi? What picture did you have of what picture did you have? Go ahead.
Okay, so when I came to America, before I came here, to me it was like a small. Let me say, it's a small heaven in my head. Because I know it's for me. I was like somebody who's coming to liberate themselves. Yep. So basically, I just wanted to come here to see for myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm somebody who loves fashion and who likes nice stuff. I was like, this is the best place for me. I was like, I'm gonna just rock in the streets. And I'm just gonna I was like, when I came, I was just thinking about hot girl summer, So the way things happened so fast for me, and I was like, oh my God, my dream is gonna happen. Like, I'm just gonna, wow.
Yeah.
Because my idea because for my degree, I learned so much to do with like journalism and I feel that this is a good place for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also have that. I had that in my head. But ideally, it's when we grow up in Africa, every single what you always have in your mind is like, it's a really, really, it's just a liberating place, a small heaven.
Yeah.
A place that we are told from when we are young that if you go to America, it's like when you arrive, all your problems leave.
yeah,
It's like when you get here, all your problems leave. They just go away. Which is not true now.
I was about to ask, is that
Which
true?
is not true. But that's how I felt.
Yeah, because I think when we're in Africa, let's say we are from Africa, we have, they say the American dream, right? And when you're there, especially if you have relatives here, you bug them about money. Oh, get me this nice clothes. And then when you get here,
see the reality.
You see the reality. You see how people work. You see how people struggle.
Let me tell you something that really surprised me. One day I was in around like last my last semester.
Yeah.
Well, I was in class around the first weeks of school, and they were talking about how people are poor in America,
Yeah.
and
That was your first week.
that's my first week. I'm like, which poverty are these people talking about? Where is the poverty? Like, where is the poverty? I'm like, I was so shocked because even hearing that people can sleep hungry here, even hearing that you can actually lack so much and be homeless, you can end up. That is, to me, that was a shock.
It's unfortunate.
Because
Yeah.
that is not, you would never hear that about America. Even the pictures and everything we have that we are fed like by our media back at home, you would never, even the snow, that the videos of snow,
It's a pretty.
it's always the pretty stuff.
yeah.
It's always like the layers of snow, and until you're like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
everything is like mixed up and dark, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to step here. I don't want to go outside.
Exactly. Yeah. And then just the shock of the weather itself.
The weather itself.
You see snow, and they don't tell you that's Hollywood. That's made up snow, fake snow, and people have the nice fur jackets and they're walking. But in real life, when you come here, you literally run from your house to your car.
To your car.
And back.
Yeah.
It's cold. So that's those some of the pictures we have, and I think what we are hearing, what we are saying is, you come to a place, you adjust to it, and then the kind of the picture you have, you'll either keep it or you'll probably adjust to it, or some people basically just cannot handle it.
Yeah.
And they go, right? What picture did you have, Joven, what picture did you have of the States?
I think it's for the case of weather,
Yeah.
because I'm coming from Tanzania, which is somehow the temperature is,
Always high.
yeah. So when I came here, I knew that it's going to be cold, but I was expecting that it's not going to be that cold.
Yeah.
You see, now during December, January, it was very cold for me. So it was. I don't know how
You really can't explain the cold.
Yeah, it was too cold for me.
And then you miss home and you
Yeah.
start.
Yes, and on the cold thing, I'm telling you, especially when majority of international students don't drive,
Yeah.
you have to use the bus.
Right.
You come from a place where you have never owned a jacket. Somebody like me, I have never owned a jacket. I was born and raised in Kisumu.
Right. You really don't need it.
Before we came to Kisii during the post-election violence in 2007. But even back in Kisii, it's just a tiny sweater. We walk with t-shirts and it's raining. I'm telling you, when you're standing on that, waiting for that bus, and then it's like negative something.
Yeah.
You have 2 gloves, you have 3 trousers, you have 2 t-shirts, you have a sweater, you have a coat, but still you're feeling it to the
Right.
bone. So the day I was so cold, I came from school and I went back to the house and I just soaked in the bathtub for like an hour, and you even start talking to yourself. You even start asking like, surely is this what I came for?
Why am I here?
Why? Why am I here?
Yeah.
But I think on top of that, the things that we went through, I think it's a part of the American dream.
Yeah.
So the hustle that we have, and we'll experience them. So it's part of the dream. So
Yeah.
So
The way this dream was packaged back at home was not like
It was-
this. The way this dream was packaged is not like this, the way I'm experiencing it. It's like April. I was told in April it will be, it's still cold. I still cannot take it.
Yeah. I mean,
And then you tell me like summer is 3 months only and then we are back to the same routine.
Yes, we are.
No.
But I think the perspective is that I'd rather. I mean, we love Africa. We love where we come from. We love home. That's home. That's where most of our families are. But again, I think, to be honest, it's easier to prosper in a place like this.
Yeah.
Because now the systems are set up in a way that it gives you that opportunity. Anybody, anyone can come to this country or can live in this country and be whoever they want to be.
Yeah, sure.
We can't really get that in Africa, right?
Yeah.
You can go to school, do all your PhDs, do your masters, and then 5 years down the lane, you're jobless.
Just ask me.
Right.
Yes, ask me. Like you finish school. I have all my friends that we finished school with, which is very sad. Because like some of them, this is my own opinion. I feel like right now, especially for the girl child, marriage has become a job. Marriage has become part of like it's a job now.
How so?
Because like you go to school, especially when coming from like, can you imagine in my class, we were like 40 people who graduated. How many TV stations and radios do we have to accommodate all these people?
Yeah.
So what happens to those who are not able to be accommodated? People hustle and hustle. They try to make ends meet. You are in the city. You're in Nairobi. You need to eat. You need to pay rent. You need to do stuff. People just decide to get married to even manage bills.
Wow.
It is very sad, but it is the truth.
It's a reality.
It's a reality that it exists. And when it comes, I came to realize, like, even when for the women who come here to America, the number is very little, especially women who are coming for the reasons of education. It really takes like strong parents, and especially you really have to come from a good background, financial background, or you must have your own plan on how to save yourself. If you don't do that, it's nearly impossible for a girl to come here unless you're coming to see your husband. Unless you're coming with your husband.
That's interesting though, because I think that's interesting.
Yes. So because like I came to realize that when you look at I'm looking for friends.
Right.
I'm like here I'm trying to find girlfriends.
Okay.
I don't have any girlfriends. I don't see any Kenyan girlfriend. I have none. I have not found in 6-7 months.
So you're saying it's
like if I want
it's harder for girls to come, or
yes, unless you're a
not
girl,
many girls.
not many girls can afford to. Because for me, I already had a plan for myself. Because I won't say that sometimes I always believe like when you have a dream, sometimes just keep it to yourself. People would never see the dream. Some other people will never see it from your eyes.
Yeah.
Sometimes people would discourage you out of love.
Yeah.
You see, like we even have our mothers who would say like, oh my God, you're a girl. Why are you going to America? A place you don't know, alone. I don't believe this. This is a woman who wishes you well, but she's killing your dream indirectly. She does not do it because she hates you. She's doing it because she loves you.
And she's afraid of.
And sometimes people will never see things from your eyes. So I just kept quiet with it. Like it was a surprise to everyone, even to my own parents. They were like, and I'm here telling my dad, I think I will need you to just help me with a bit of like flight. You know, the flight was so much that time. I came here with 1,400 one-way flight.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I'm not coming back.
So is it the same for boys then? Is it the same? Do you guys get the same scenario for like she's saying it's harder? Let me ask this, is it harder for boys or for males to settle in here than ladies?
Okay, for
In
me,
your opinion.
whatever I've come across at the U, I've seen in my class, okay, like international students, like I think there's a last semester, I think I was the only one outside the US. Like all of them were from here. Like I'm the only one outside the US, so the rest are here. The rest are from here. They're born here, white, blacks. But I was the only one from the US, and it was something surprising because I didn't expect it to be this way. Because I've had like universities you go to and you meet your fellow, not even Kenyans, but fellow Africans, people who are from outside the US. So at the U, the people who have met, most of them who are international students are the male gender. If I compare them to the female gender, the female gender I've only met like one or two. Like right now, since I joined the U, I've never seen a Kenyan lady at the U. I've never seen a Kenyan lady. I can't say that I've seen a Kenyan lady from at the University of Minnesota. Like she tells me she's coming from Kenya. I've not met them. Maybe they're there, but I've not met them. But people who have come across.
You mean residents and international students both?
I've not seen a Kenyan international student, even a resident at the U, who's a Kenyan, in my maybe it's
In your
because I'm in
department.
my department, or even people who I work, my friends, people who I work with. I've never had them saying like, "Oh, I have a Kenyan lady, a friend of mine, a Kenyan lady who studies at the U." People who I meet, they tell me they have Kenyan male friends who have studied, former students, alumni, or their current students. So for the people who have come across at the U, international students, most of them are the male gender, and I've seen most Kenyan students, most Kenyan international students who are from Kenya are the male gender. And from Tanzania, I've met, it's somehow mixed. I've seen ladies and I've seen men. I've met Namibians, a lady, and I've also met people from Malawi and Liberia, Nigeria, West Africa, in plenty. But from East Africa, I think the way I can agree with Vayo, like I've seen a larger number of the male gender compared to the female gender.
So what I'm gonna vouch for you guys then. So if you're watching and you're listening, they're here. They need friends. I'm just kidding, but yeah. So I mean, it's difficult to. Well, I'm an international student, like I was telling you. I mean, I'm an international student, but I was an international student in India, and there, I mean, that's a whole different culture. But I think my experience was, I mean, if it's hard for you the first years to settle, it usually takes a little bit of time to catch up on a lot of things. You know, if it's your books, if it's the food, if it's the weather, it takes you a little bit of time to
Yeah, and about that,
accustomed
I
to
just feel like they should make it mandatory for you to be here at least 3 months before you start school. I feel that should be a mandatory thing.
So you come, you have to be in school.
No, if you're coming for fall and you start your school, mostly fall starts at around 20th August.
Yeah.
You should be here at least by around June.
Junior.
So that you're able to understand. You know, like things just happen so fast for me. By the time I'm settling, you're already in class.
You're in class. You're supposed to catch up on a lot of
You don't even know how to use the system yet. Open where to get your work. I'm from a handwriting country where we write. The teacher says this and you write.
Let's before you go on, let's put that in perspective. See where we come from, right? These iPads and computers and whiteboards and all that
They're not there.
They're in the international schools, right?
Yeah.
And we have never proved that, so we've never gone there, so we don't know. So what we do is the lecturer comes, at least from where I came from, it was the same in India as well. The lecturer comes and they start blurting out, and you have to write. They come and you have to use a pen and a pencil and a paper and write, and then assignments. Could talk about assignments. Let's talk about how the assignments there in Kenya. You know, they give you an assignment.
I think
go
the kind
write
of
it down.
teaching in Kenya is very involving. The thing is this: the teacher will come and will probably write a topic, tell you to open a certain place, maybe if you're supposed to read from it. He will explain the concept and will explain it to the best of his ability. Once he's done, if it's math, he will try some questions with you on the board.
Okay.
And he will give you, and once he's done again, he will give you the questions to do it by yourselves, and he will walk around seeing if you've done it. So the teacher can confirm that actually I'm teaching. It's getting into the student. Because if I've taught you now, I give you a question.
Example, right.
I expect you to give me an outcome because I've been teaching you for the last 30 minutes. Let me see what you're doing. So if you do that and you have like a sample of like 5 questions you've done in class, it will be easier to take on the others.
How about here then, Georgie?
Here,
Same scenario in class. You walk in the morning. How does it go?
Here, when I came here, I found like whatever the education system in Kenya is, it's different, completely different from what the US is offering. And in the US, what I came to realize is I think lecturers make it easier for their students in terms of like even the notes. The lecturer will tell you like I've posted it on Canvas. You just go there, check, click that link. It will bring out the notes. So he'll just come there, talk, say about
whatever he posted,
whatever he posted, what is entailed in the notes or in the video clip or audio clip.
Yeah.
Then he will leave. Like he'll be like, okay, see you in the next class. Then if you're a student, if you want to go to check, if you're a serious student, some will check, some will ignore.
Right.
And back there in Kenya, the teacher will come, the lecturer, teach, give examples, because I was doing a course which deals with more of practical and writing. Give examples and everything. Then we'll start like asking questions like, what's your take? Like, do you have a question after I'm done? After because I've done, I'm through teaching. Same thing happens in the US, but not all lecturers. Some of them come, discuss
How
about
do you
what.
keep tabs with students?
How do I keep stuff?
Like, because I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm saying this. Like, when you give, how this is what I think, because like if you're students, majority of this, and you're a student, you want to maximize, you want to teach, and you're a teacher, you want to make sure that they're getting the best of what you can offer. And how do you keep tabs with these students to ensure they're doing that? As in, okay, so I like people say like it's a free world here, you can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's your money. At the end of the day, it's yours. But I always feel it's a good responsibility to at least make sure that whatever whatever is going on, you know that you're with the people.
Right.
Because it's so easy. I find it America is so it's so easy in America to give up on education.
Yep.
It's so easy to give up in education. I in my class, I'm the only girl. We were 20 when we began this semester. We are 6 right now. We are 6 finishing this course.
What?
Yes. We are 6 finishing this class.
Wow.
And I'm the only girl. So now tell me, like, the teacher has done exactly what you are saying. So how do you, and then they will ask you, how do you make people really get interest in whatever? Because I don't believe that every person in this course didn't want it or is a bad student. There's always that culture of like trying to go check.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody drops, why did they drop?
Right.
Why?
And I think
That's different. Yeah.
I think what I've seen, like you're seeing here, it's more of technology, even in class, either tablet, your phone, or a laptop, if you're checking the website and stuff. What I've seen, okay, for me, you shall sit at the back. So when you come, because you're sitting at the back, you'll see what other students are doing. If you're sitting at the back of the auditorium, you're going to see everything. Most of the students, when the lecturer is dictating notes or talking, I can say 95% majority, they're always doing their own stuff. You'll find someone doing his or her own assignment, maybe for another class, not for the same class. The lecturer will teach, won't bother. Even some lecturers, they're stagnant.
They don't move around.
They don't move around. They're just stagnant.
Yeah,
at
they
the
don't
same
move
place.
around. Yes,
They don't move around.
Somebody
to see how
can
other people are
sleep.
doing.
Somebody can literally put their head and sleep,
They won't do anything.
and then
They
they
won't do
won't do
anything. They
anything.
won't
As
ask
in,
any
that is the
question.
thing. That's the funny thing about this free society. I don't understand
Yeah.
it.
So-
This free will is too much.
But before Joven, I think you have you've done a master's. I'm sure if you're doing a PhD, you've already had a master. So you've had this. Is it important for lecturers or teachers to kind of the culture we have in Kenya? You have to submit your assignment. The teachers follow you. They are on you. You know, they
Yes.
make sure. Is it important for, like, you have the most experience you have? Do you think it's important for lecturers or teachers to kind of have that authoritarian following up attitude with their students?
I don't think so.
Go closer to the mic.
I don't think so. But in my experience, for an African student, for him or for her to adapt to the American culture, it can be somehow difficult or not. For my case, it has been good. And for example, in my first degree and second degree, we maybe per week you can have, maybe per 2 weeks or 3 weeks you can submit only one assignment. But here you have to submit per week one assignment. But back home it can be done for 3 weeks or 2 weeks one assignment. So so you can find yourself to be very busy. And here everything is being done electronically.
Yeah.
You see? Now even the assignments, most of the students here, they do their assignments by using the iPads, you see. But for me, I don't have an iPad. and even if I have it, but sometimes I don't know how to use it. So I just have to find my paper, my word paper, and write something, my assignment, and then take my phone, take a pictures, and then combine the papers to form a PDF and then upload
And
it.
then you upload it.
Yeah, so it can somehow, yani it's I don't know how to say it, but
Somehow
it
challenging.
takes a lot. It takes a lot of time.
A lot of time, yeah.
Yeah. So it's but it's
That's
a good
different.
experience.
Yeah, I want to say it's a good experience because, you know, I'm trying to imagine someone who's coming from, you know, a remote area,
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
say Nyariwari Church
right,
inside.
somewhere there, has never seen a laptop,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
The only computer they saw was when they were applying, right? They
maybe
come
with-
here,
In Kisi Town.
right, and someone did it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they come here, they're expected to
Do the
take a
same.
bus on a cold morning,
Yeah.
find their class, submit an assignment, PDF, scan it.
They've
that-
never even scanned before. They
They've-
don't even
they've-
know what scanning is.
So do you think, as we're wrapping up part one, do you think that the schools should do more in helping
Students.
adjust?
Yes.
And what two parts to that question? And what resources have you guys experienced or have had in helping you settle?
Okay, so let me begin this. The beauty about the schools in America is that they take every single issue seriously.
Yeah.
That's what I love about America. Every single issue is taken seriously. If I say something like, if I go to school and say that I cannot function today because I feel like my head is heavy, somebody will take care of that. Somebody will want to know more.
Yeah.
Which is not the same case as back at home. And I like the fact that they try as much as possible to ensure the students have at least what they need to attend class comfortably. If you need a private place to read, there it is there. We have very minimal places in schools, in Kenyan schools, to find a private place to study. Because even me growing up, the only private place I could study is in my
your
mother's
room.
house.
Right.
After eating dinner, it's like now everybody is reading. My mother will be there to ensure you're reading.
Right.
So that is the one thing. I can get my private place to study. Number two, when I'm hungry in school and I don't have money, I can eat.
Okay.
Because there are resource centers, places you can go and eat comfortably. And that thing is doing miracles for so many international students. I have seen it and witnessed it personally. And the good thing is that there's diversity. There's fruits, there's chocolates, there's food. So you choose what you want. So it's like they will say like you can grab only 3 snacks at a time. That is better than being hungry.
You're hungry, yeah, and going to class.
Yes,
yeah.
and you're going to class. Some people just get from that cold bus in the morning straight to the resource, then to class. Now, another thing I would like to say is also the mental health, which is something that we don't really discuss so much back at home. You would tell somebody, I don't feel, the way you don't feel like doing anything. It's like sometimes, when you've been overpowered by all these things happening to you so fast. Sometimes we can't even recognize that it's depression because it's not something that is talked about where you came from. You're so depressed because you're thinking about your next meal. You're thinking about, if you're paying rent, you're thinking about where I will get my rent. And international students cannot work outside school.
We will talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything like that, you're thinking about all these things. The probability of being depressed is so high.
Yeah.
The services they offer in school, very good. Because number one, nobody's gonna tell your shit to anyone. You can share your stories in private, and you're sure it's private, as opposed to home. You will say something, and the whole school will know in one week. Yes. So the mental health services are being taken care of. It's helping so many international students.
Yeah.
So, and even when you have an issue as a woman, like the women issues, they're very quick to jump on it.
I don't want you to jump the gun because that's part two.
Okay.
Part one is the rosy part of it. We want to go to the nitty gritty where the rubber meets. So we'll
Okay.
talk about mental health, women's stuff, and all that stuff in part
Yeah.
two. But yeah, that's the main chunk of part two. But yeah, do you think the school should do more in 2 seconds. The school should do more to help international students adjust to life here. Joji.
Yeah, but yeah, and they need to do more because this is a different environment, different culture, different education system, and our education system back in Kenya, Tanzania, all other international students back in Africa, even from Europe, it's different from what they offer in the US.
Yeah.
And if they could have come up with maybe like, let's say, that's why in the U, people for us who are at the U, for us students who are at the U, we have a group of African Union students, like where at least we are trying to get into contact with each and every student coming from Africa, be it you are Kenyan born here, be it you came from Kenya or you came from Africa, but as long as you have an African heritage, we are trying to get in touch with you so that we can make it much more easier for other students to navigate, to understand, to get to know what's happening around the school and what's happening around the community. But to be honest, in the US, what I like about the education system, they have more than what you require in terms of resources. Because sometimes I actually sit down and I look at the University of Minnesota, I'm like, wow, this university is so amazing because they have more than what you require as a student. If it's resources, books, advisors, lecturers, you have Zoom meetings with them, you have office meetings, if it's staff, supportive staff, they have
those
more than
resources.
what you require as a student. So you can't go to the university and say like, you know what, the school is missing something. No, you'll be lying. They have more than what you require as a student.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Jovan. Final thoughts. What do you think? What do you think the schools should do more in supporting international students?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of resources in the university for the case of mental health, academics, things like that. But I think most of the international students, they lack that awareness. So the university have to increase its level of awareness so that the international students, they can be aware that those kind of resources,
Are
they do
available.
exist. So yeah.
And also maybe come up with like international students, like the school. Sometimes I usually see some of the activities, like the school to include international students' activities in their curriculum, like at least it being a normal thing in the school. Like if I shall see in the university, sometimes they post, oh, you have a community event which is happening here. Students are welcomed, are invited to come. So if they can do that to international students, so that those international students coming from Africa or out of US can interact with the students from here, so that at least, because when you put activities which can bring international students with the the residents of the US, it's much more easier for them to interact, know each other, and some of the students will support each other, and they'll help other international students to know what's happening around the school, even if the school cannot like give out like create that awareness. But if you interact with other students,
Someone will tell you.
Someone will tell you this is what's supposed to happen, this is what you're supposed to do at a particular time, this is what you're supposed to do, and it will be easier for you as a student to navigate. But when you're left by your own self, you don't have a friend, it's challenging. You have the resources, but you don't know what to do.
Yeah, on top of that,
yes.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. On top of that, I think the point that George was talking about, it's a very good point.
Yeah.
And those activities, they're there. But the issue is that we are not aware.
Yeah, sure.
But they're there. Those, yeah.
Okay. Well, we are at 53 minutes. So, what final question for this part? What would you tell a girl child who wants to come to the US? What would you tell them? Once in a couple of sentences.
Your dream is valid, and always find a reason to make it work.
Okay.
Find a reason to make it work. Many times you'll hear so many things, but you need to find a reason to make it work. Don't go according to other people's. We don't. This life, everybody has their own script, and you have the power to write yours. I believe that everybody can do that. So just follow your heart, and always keep up to what you dream. You can do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Georgie, what would you advise a boy child or someone who's here? What would you tell them about if they advise them? What advice would you give?
For me, I usually talk to my friends because most of my friends, majority of them, are back home. So sometimes they usually ask me like, how's everything over there in the US? So I usually tell them like, can you get an opportunity to come? So I actually share the website of the school,
Yeah.
or other state colleges or university that I know of. Like I usually tell them like, apply. Don't stop applying. Don't give up. Apply. You never know. One day you may wake up to that email that you have been accepted. You're supposed to do this and this. So for me, I usually tell them like, just continue. Keep the momentum.
Yeah.
You continue being you. Like do the right thing at the right time. Continue applying for these opportunities. We have resources. The US has resources for international students, scholarships, and every other thing. And for the boy child, because right now I think the girl child, the world has forgotten about the boy child.
Exactly.
They are focusing now on the
On
girl
the girl
child.
child, right.
The boy child is neglected. What I can say is that we need to have a community which, a world which, of course, like 50-50. Boy child 50%, the girl child 50%. We don't need to favor one
And leave the other.
one group and leave the other. And for me, I actually say like you have to be a hardworking person and a disciplined person if you want to achieve in this life. If you're not a disciplined person and if you're not a hardworking person, even if you're in the US or even if you're given that opportunity, things won't come. Like this is not Egypt where manna was falling from heaven, where God was feeding the Israelites. So you have to keep on pushing. You have to sacrifice, do everything that is required in order for you to make it in life. Because Rome was not built in 1 year; it was built in many years. It took many years to build Rome. So, one opportunity, a step at a time. But before that, you have to start from somewhere. Don't think that coming to the US that you've already achieved your dream. No, I've seen Kenyans who are here who are suffering, Africans, and even the US citizens who are born here are suffering because of they made the bad decision. So if you're coming here, make the right decision, do the right thing, be hardworking, be disciplined, and of course, put God first, and everything will be a success.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Josie. Jovan, one word.
I think you have to work smart, work hard, be disciplined, and pray to God so that He can bless your journey.
All right. Well, he's a man of few words. I like that. But anyway, that's that. This is just part one. I think in part two we are going to talk about some of the challenges you guys have faced.
Sure.
Some that you're already going through. If you're comfortable sharing, we're here to talk about real issues. So some of the challenges you guys have talked about: mental health, women issues for the girls, that the isolation and all that stuff. We want to get into a little bit of that. Racism, discrimination. We'll talk about that. So that was part one of this episode. I really don't know what we're going to call it, but we'll figure out something. But that was part one. Thank you, Vio, Joji, and Joven for gracing us for part one. Don't miss part two because you're going to talk about a lot of very serious issues, and we hope that someone, if you're out there and you're listening to this, don't give up. Like you've heard from them, you try. Give up. Don't. If you give up, then you miss your opportunity. There's something out there waiting for you. So do not give up. Try your best to life is limitless. Your dreams are valid. So that was part one of the Diary of an International Student, and we'll come back for part two. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. That was our time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Amazing Truth Podcast. We hope you were blessed as you listened. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. God bless you, and see you on the next one.